going ahead, we have a special presentation, a special address by Shri Praween Prakash, Deputy Commissioner of Police, New Town. I would request Mr. Praveen Prakash to come on stage. And please give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, Elets and Department of IT and Electronics, Government of West Bengal, for giving this a wonderful opportunity for me to express my views. So this summit is about the emerging technologies, and these emerging technologies and all the high-tech things that we do mainly for the larger good of the people, common people. But at the same time, these things are being used to further the wrong intention of the criminals or the bad element of the society. So I would like to today take on a topic which is very hyped nowadays, cryptocurrencies, and how the criminals or the bad actors of society are using this technology, this thing, to launder the money. Normally, what we used to hear from our movies or whatever we have experienced is, normally people used to open a lot of shell companies earlier, and then some money was earned, some bad money was earned. It was round-tripped into different shell companies. After rotations throughout the globe, it used to then be clean, then it will enter into our system in a clean manner. That is the part of integration, part of the money laundering process, and then everything is clean and fine and people can use that money. So it used to take a lot of effort on the part of the bad actor. It used to take a lot of effort on the part of CA or the accounting personnel who used to open the company's current account, something of that sort. So nowadays, with the advent of cryptocurrency, by writing just a single script, within a second, within a few click of mouses or maybe 30 seconds, the money laundering can be done. So we have investigated a lot of cases, in a few cases. So I just like to highlight that also at the end of my slide. So basically, I would be going ahead with initially the discussion a bit about what cryptocurrency is and what are the values in the cryptocurrency through which actually money is being laundered. So going ahead, the cryptocurrency is a kind of digital asset whose transactions are recorded on blockchain. It is a very highly technical term, blockchain, but I would not go into a lot of technical detail about what blockchain is, but I just wanted to highlight that blockchain, you can think it of like a global computer which is being run on a lot of computers, that is basically nodes throughout the world. I suppose many of you must have used muTorrent, BitTorrent, these kind of things when we were in college. So we had we used to share a lot of files on the internet, and we used to run a BitTorrent client, and the files used to get shared among all the computers throughout the world. So you can think of the blockchain operating in the same manner. It is a peer-to-peer kind of network of some kind of nodes which holds the record of the transactions on it. So now we have a different kind of blockchain for different technology. Like we have Bitcoin blockchain for Bitcoin currency. We have Ethereum blockchain for Ether. So similarly, we have a lot of Bitcoin, blockchains, and they are mentioned below, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Tether, USDT. These are kind of a lot of tokens and native currency of blockchains that are actually circulated on different blockchains. So in short, I would like to say that blockchains, the cryptocurrencies are digital assets whose records are kept on the blockchain. That is it, as simple as that. You can think it of as a decentralized ledger, a global ledger, which is maintained in all the computers. And suppose if I transfer you some amount of money, some amount of Bitcoin, some amount of Ether to you, it is getting recorded on a global computer which cannot be tampered with. And once this transaction has happened and it has been recorded on the blockchain, it cannot be removed. That is why it is immutable. It is totally, completely transparent. Whatever transaction that I have done, it would be there on the blockchain forever. And there are a lot of blockchain explorers, there are a lot of websites where you can go and check out the transaction with respect to a particular account. So I have mentioned a few websites like btcscan.com, it is for Bitcoin transactions, etherscan.io for Ethereum blockchain. These kind of websites I will just demo later on also. And I mentioned about the Ether, I mentioned about the Bitcoin and a lot of other currencies operating on different blockchains. I need to mention two more things, then we can go ahead with how the criminals are using the blockchain technology and cryptocurrency to launder money. So they are normally DeFi tokens. Like you can just think of tokens like when you go to a game parlor. We used to go to game parlor earlier, and we used to deposit the person at the counter some 100 rupee or maybe 1000 rupees, and उस 1000 रुपए के बदले हमको 10 token देता है वो, and we have a gaming console over there. We insert the token into that and we are allowed to play. So you can just think of the DeFi tokens like the kind of tokens running on the central blockchain. For example, if I want to create my own token on Ethereum blockchain, I can create that token, and then I can transfer that token to other person if he wants to use it, and in lieu of that I will receive some kind of payment. So I can create any kind of token on that blockchain. So the blockchain has a lot of tokens. A single blockchain like Solana, Ethereum, these kind of blockchains have a lot of tokens. People can go and create the tokens over there. So these tokens have different values. For example, if I own the share of a company, I can tokenize that share and keep it on a blockchain. So that record is kept on the blockchain. So this is one of the one of the tokens that is in circulation, and the other thing is non-fungible tokens. These are also kind of tokens only, but one token differs from other token because they have some ID attached to it. So I will not go much into technical details, but these are the three things: the native cryptocurrency on that blockchain, the tokens, and the NFTs, non-fungible tokens. These three are the things through which the money launderers have been using on the blockchain technology to launder the money. So going ahead with the next slide. So you can see this is one of the blockchain explorer, etherscan.io. On the top of it, you can see the address. That means this particular address has these many transactions on the blockchain. So you can see the below some 60,385 ether at USDT has been transferred by this person some 235 days, 5 hours ago. So it has happened a year back, and it's still there on the blockchain. So people can see that. So this is the benefit of the blockchain technology, basically the cryptocurrency. Now you will ask me, why do the money launderer would like to go ahead with these kind of techniques to launder money when everything is transparent on this, the blockchain explorer? So I'll go ahead and talk about that in my later slides. And now the question comes, why cryptocurrency at all in the first place? Everybody must be aware that cryptocurrency was first came into being in the year 2009. There was some person, maybe pseudonym, people do not know who Satoshi Nakamoto is, and he created the Bitcoin, and he had mentioned this thing. He was fed up with the financial system that we are currently living in. It was the 2008 crisis, the economic crisis, that prompted the Satoshi Nakamoto to go ahead with this kind of decentralized technology for management of money. So he wrote, banks must be trusted to hold our money and transfer it electronically, but they lend it out in waves of credit bubbles with barely a fraction in reserve. So it was the crisis. The banks relentlessly lent the money to irresponsible borrowers, and the money was gone for most of the people during the 2008 crisis. The next thing that he mentioned is that we have to trust them with our privacy. We assume that the banks are keeping our transaction private. So he was not also happy that the transactions are not private. He also mentioned that we have to trust them not to let identity thieves drain our accounts. So this is with respect to security of our account. And he told their massive overhead costs make micro payment impossible. We might not realize this thing because if we go ahead with a transaction in the domestic level, fraction of money is charged, 2 rupee, maybe 1.5, 1.3 rupee. But if we go ahead with the international payments, a lot of money is charged in doing such kind of transaction. So these were certain things with which the creators of the cryptocurrency went ahead, and now we have a full-fledged blockchain system over here. So simplifying whatever the thing was written over there, I'd like to go ahead. What are the benefits of the cryptocurrency? And if you understand these benefits, maybe then you can also understand why the money launderers have tendency to use the cryptocurrency to launder the money. The transaction speed. Transaction speed means if I want to transfer some money from here to a company with whom I am dealing in some business, sitting in maybe South America, I can just transfer the money to that person in a click of a mouse. And I would like to give you a demo also of that thing, how easily it can be done. All right, there's some kind of technical issue, in the PPT system itself over here. That way I cannot give you a demo, but it was a very nice demo. I would have shown you, I have 2 Ether account of mine holding some kind of Ether in that, some Ether in those 2 accounts, and I would have went ahead with a transaction. From my one account, I would have transferred the Ether to that particular account, and within 10 seconds, the transaction would go ahead. So sadly, I cannot show that to you. But you should understand that the transaction speed is so fast that people tend to use the blockchain technology, the cryptocurrency on the blockchain, and the barriers in transacting throughout the world is so less that people have a tendency to go ahead with the blockchain technology. The other thing is the privacy thing in the blockchain. So I'll be discussing about privacy thing in the next slide. The third thing is safe and secure. So all the transactions on the blockchain dealing with the cryptocurrency are cryptographically secured. So I will not go into much details of the technical things behind it. So you should, the next thing is it is totally decentralized. That means whatever transaction that you are doing and whatever the record of the transaction is being maintained, it is not being maintained by any particular authority or entity or banks. Like we transact in some money and the banks maintain a record of whatever we have transacted. But in blockchain, it is not, there is no central authority who maintains this kind of register. So there are nodes of computers running throughout the world, and they keep the record of the transaction that has happened on the blockchain. If a person wants to interact on a blockchain, if he wants to transfer some cryptocurrency on the blockchain, he must have a crypto address. And crypto addresses are very easy to create. There are a lot of softwares you can install, and just click on a button, create a new address, it will generate a new address. So crypto addresses are basically mathematical, some kind of mathematical algorithm goes behind it, and it creates some kind of random address, some kind of weird looking string. Had I been able to show that, demo to you, you would have understood what exactly the address is. So anybody can install on their computer that software, and he has that address. And if he has that internet, he can just connect to the blockchain network and transfer the currency. So that is the last point, accessibility. You install any wallet, that is the software I meant to say. You install any wallet and you have the internet connection, you are okay to go ahead with the transaction on the blockchain dealing in cryptocurrency. I would like to deal a bit more on wallets. Wallets are actually a kind of software wherein you give your private key. It is again a mathematical thing. Private key is just a string of characters. You just import that private key in that software, and it will generate automatically the addresses that you need for transacting ahead on the blockchain later on. And low cost. Definitely, when you transfer some money to some country, some entity in USA or maybe South America, it will be huge cost, and settlement might also take time. So settlement over here, it will be very, very fast, and the cost would also be very low. And it is transparent. Everything is clearly shown on the Ether's, the Explorer that I showed in my previous slide. So these are a few benefits because of which generally the money launderers are using the cryptocurrency to launder their money. So in any money laundering process, there are 3 processes. The placement of money, collection. First of all, they collect the dirty money. Then they place it into the system. Then they use layering mechanism. They hide the origin of the money through various mechanisms. Earlier, it used to happen through a lot of cell companies, then round tripping, and basically misusing various laws in different countries. They used to open some companies in the countries where the tax compliance laws are very lax. These kind of things people earlier used to do. But now, this layering in blockchain through cryptocurrency is all done through the software itself. And last step is the integration. Integration means once you have laundered the money, if you have hidden the origin of the money that you got through some illegal networks, then after doing all these layering things through different mechanisms, which I will be explaining over here in a while, then you just exchange that money. Well, cryptocurrency is of no use actually, until unless you can create that into a fiat currency, or until unless you can buy something out of that currency. It is just a digital asset. If you cannot buy anything, it is of no use to anyone. So that is the important part, that is the integration part, that is the last step of the money laundering thing. People use different mechanism to bring that cryptocurrency into the real economy by converting it to a fiat currency or maybe using some other services. So how do people do that? I would be going ahead with that also. The placement of the money, the dirty money. People generally, the fraudster or the bad actors, collect dirty money through various mechanisms. And in India, we have not seen that surge of the cryptocurrency-related fraud nowadays. But maybe in a year or two, it will be on a rise. So I personally have investigated 2 such cases wherein a lot of money involving cryptocurrency was involved. So the very first thing is cyber fraud. You people must be having a lot of information about the cyber fraud happening on different using these kind of things, investment scams, dating scams, fraudulent apps. There are a lot of apps you install, and they ask you to do something on that app or that portal, and you end up losing money. So all kind of social cyber crimes you can think of. People generally are now moving to use cryptocurrency to clean their money obtained through these kind of cyber crimes. We have scam call centers also running all throughout India. They tech support guys, they call people over there and they make fool of the people in the name of tech support and collect money from them. And they again collect money from them in Bitcoin or some Ethereum or some kind of cryptocurrency itself. What do they do? They call the people over there and they are fooled and they buy some cryptocurrency for the fraudster. And they transfer that cryptocurrency to that fraudster. And now that fraudster has that cryptocurrency in his wallet, maybe in his account, and he can just go ahead with the transferring that money to anyone he wants. And the question that would definitely come into your mind is, cannot we track that person using his address? Like we track the person using his bank account, cannot we track that? It cannot be done, which I'll be discussing again later on the next slide. Money mules. This is one of the most famous things that we have observed during our investigation of the cases, that these things are the most prevalent thing through which people generally fleece people and collect money and deposit into some account, then convert into a cryptocurrency. Generally what happens in the rural area, people are poor. They use their KYC details, their identity details to open some bank account. They pay them 5,000 rupee. मेरे को 5,000 रुपए दो तुम, I'll pay you 5,000, you give me your KYC details. Everything they provide, their PAN card number, their Aadhaar number, their mobile number, every details that they give to the people. And that person will then provide those 10 KYC documents to 20 different banks. And 20 different banks with that KYC proof will open 20 different accounts of that person. Now he has sold that account to a person who just paid 5,000 rupee to a fraudster and he was happy. Yes, I got 5,000 rupee. I did not have to do anything. I just had to give my KYC details, that is my ID card, my maybe mobile number or maybe the Aadhaar card. But that person now will collect the all fraudulent money in that particular account. Now if a policeman, if in any investigation agency end up tracking the person through in whose account the money was deposited, it would be again pointing to that poor fellow sitting in a village. The same thing happens. A lot of cyber crime happens like in terms of fraudulent job offers. You go to some portal, you apply for job, then you get a call. Sir, we have a job opening for you. And then you go happily over there. They take all the details. They take your photograph. They take your KYC detail in the guise of making a salary account for you. And then they use those KYC details to open the bank account. And even they use crypto accounts on exchanges to collect money for them, taking your name. So this is the third thing that I mentioned. And the black money. The black money, everybody is so familiar with it. Any legitimate business that you are having, the person having, he will just use that money to buy some cryptocurrency through some exchanges, and the money has been converted into the cryptocurrency, and he can do anything with that cryptocurrency. And the next step is the layering. Now the dirty money has been converted into the cryptocurrency. Now it has to be layered. It has to be somehow rotated in the system that people cannot, the investigator or the policeman like us cannot track that person down. And really it is a very, very difficult task to track that person down because of a few reasons that I would like to mention over here. The very first thing, there are few things that people use, but this is not very prevalent in India, but a few things among these are prevalent in India. But I'm just talking about a general thing that people use to launder money. The very first thing is people use mixers and tumblers. What are mixers and tumblers? These are some kind of services which offers services wherein you deposit your cryptocurrency, whatever cryptocurrency you have acquired. For example, your wallet address is A, and you have deposited that money from the cryptocurrency from your wallet address A to the Mixer wallet address. They provide you the address, their address. For example, Mixer has the address M. The cryptocurrency has been transferred from the crypto address A to the M, that is Mixer. And Mixer is some kind of money laundering service provider sitting somewhere in the world, maybe in the USA, maybe in Australia, maybe somewhere else. Now, thousands of people, you avail that service, Mixer, and they deposit their money. And they have some kind of mechanism through which they transfer the money to you again, but now that money cannot be tracked to you because they have some kind of algorithm behind it that the investigator cannot track the money. Where did it come from? The next thing is the person wallet. I mentioned about the wallets. Wallets are just a kind of software which generates the crypto addresses just by a click of a button. So nobody can actually ascertain कि ये wallet किसका है. There is only one way we can relate a wallet to a person is through some exchange. Normally जब एक आदमी अपना wallet बनाता है खुद, you cannot relate it to any person. But if he has to go and bring that currency, maybe अपना पैसा निकालना चाहेगा वो, then he will have to go to some exchange. And उस exchange में जब वो अपने account से उसके account में पैसा जाएगा, then it will give a request for withdrawing the money. Then you can ask that exchange, who is this person who transacted with this email, with this wallet address, because he has taken the money out of your system in the fiat form. Then the exchanges can help you out. Otherwise, बीच में अगर 100 भी अगर हमने wallet address लगा दिया, I cannot find out who that person is. Until unless he goes to the exchange, I cannot find that person out. So this is the issue with personal wallet. There's some kind of privacy coins. I will not go much into technical details. Darknet markets, people purchase a lot of things. Gambling services are available on the darknet market. People invest their money over there and then they withdraw money from there. So you cannot ask again gambling markets because they are not KYC and AML compliant. Coin swap and chain hopping, they're very advanced concept. I would not like to go ahead with that. And money laundering service, as I mentioned, it is available on the internet, and you can go and give your money, cryptocurrency to them, and then they'll give you clean cryptocurrency using various mechanisms. And the last thing is the integration part, wherein you convert your cryptocurrency to a fiat currency. So again, I'd like to tell you over here that there are three kinds of exchanges. The retail exchanges, wherein you deposit some money and you ask for the fiat currency. हम इंडिया में देखते हैं WazirX, CoinDCX, Binance, Zip पे इनका ad आता है. So you ask them, we have this kind of transaction, please let me know about the person, and they will let you know. P2P exchanges like Huobi, Paxful, Local Bitcoin, these exchanges, you can transact with a person in cryptocurrency sitting on this portal itself. Suppose I am having a cryptocurrency, you are having a cryptocurrency, or you are having a fiat currency. I will deposit the currency into this peer-to-peer exchange, and you will also deposit the money into the peer-to-peer exchange escrow account. Once both the people have deposited the cryptocurrency and the money in the escrow account, now the portal will give the confirmation and the money will be transferred. And the last thing is the DEX. It is also a very high-level concept, so I will not like to go ahead with this. But mostly money launderers nowadays in India are using the P2P exchanges and retail exchanges. Now you will ask me, how can the exchanges block my money? Because cryptocurrency, we have heard that it is entirely decentralized. People cannot take my money back. But it is because while you create an account on the exchange, like these, retail exchange and P2P exchanges, you generally are creating an account on a custodial crypto exchanges. That means they create your account, your addresses on their behalf and on your behalf on their portal, but they do not give you their private key. Your private key is with them only. If the police officer, if the investigation agency give a request to block that account, they will block your private key, they will not reveal your private key, and then you cannot withdraw your account, the money from that account. So that is the reason other kind of exchanges are non-custodial exchanges, which do not keep your private key. There, they cannot block your account. So we are again helpless. If we find out a particular exchange has dealt with a cryptocurrency which has been laundered, and if I go to that exchange and I ask that person, please give me the detail of that person and please block that money in that account, they cannot do that. I will not be able to at all get any benefit out of that. So this is the thing that I wanted to tell. So these exchanges finally are the integration step, cryptocurrency to fiat conversion. These exchanges help us. So Binance and FTX crisis recently, you must have heard about FTX was also one of the exchange. So I have also mentioned how to trace a cryptocurrency transaction. It is all through the Explorer that I mentioned earlier. I can go to the exchanges, and there's some kind of tools also which to which I can give my crypto addresses, some transaction IDs on the blockchain, and it will let me know if it is in the open, basically using some OS end or some kind of meta information that is associated with that transaction. It may or may not divulge the actual entity that is behind that crypto addresses. And the major problem that we face is that if the exchange is not AML, anti-money laundering or KYC compliant, the entity, we are not at all, able to recover any detail of that person. So this is one of the examples I would like to show with the case we investigated, and you can just see the figures. It is billions and trillions. People have been sending money, receiving money in billions and trillions. I have masked a few addresses because that was during the investigation that we did. And you can see the flow of money. These are a few addresses that I have put it over here. We were having thousands of addresses. This particular address were dealing with thousands of addresses, and they were just chain hopping to address to address, address to address, address to address. So I just put a relevant address over here. These are the counterparties of this particular address. I have just taken a screenshot of the first, whatever could fit in the single page, I did that. But it had thousands of addresses through which this address had transacted. So you can just see the amount volume received, 12,241,781 US dollar. So maybe the legal status in India, I will not go much in detail because of short of time, but I'll end this discussion. What is the status of the cryptocurrency in India? Cryptocurrency is not banned in India. The only thing is that RBI has asked the banks to deal with crypto platforms in a very responsible manner. It should be. And for the exchanges, the agencies have brought about some kind of notification, some kind of mandates that KYC norms has to be followed, and some kind of logs have to be maintained. And lastly, if you deal in cryptocurrencies, you have to pay some kind of taxes. That is here, 30% tax with without set of losses with profits, and 1% TDS. So that means it is not banned in India, but you have to pay a heavy taxation in India. So you can go ahead with the cryptocurrencies, and that is the biggest headache that we have, because we do not have any law banning cryptocurrency in India. So I hope my presentation was helpful for you to understand the scenario that we are facing with respect to cryptocurrency and money laundering. Thank you.